thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. It's very good to see you. It's great that here on a cold night you've all come here. And I hope I'll either say or show you one thing that you'll remember. I'm delighted to be here. Also, find it very hard to say no to Anne when she asks me to do things. And it reminded me of very early in our friendship. She was living in Italy, and I got a phone call from her cousin saying that she was almost suicidal with grief, very depressed, broken-hearted. Was there anything I could possibly do? She knew I'd just earned some money from Not That I Got News, and I said, yes, all right, bought 2 tickets to go to Venice, and we both flew out there, as it were, to save a life. And you could tell the moment we arrived that Anne had never been in higher spirits. And that it was simply a trick to get out to Venice, paid for by someone else. I mention that because that's exactly the kind of corrupt foreign assistance that the Tory party are trying to root out. That's the bad side of things, and we're going to aim for much more efficient, effective, and truthful aim. It's particularly good to be here, with the feeling that on this subject there is in the UK cross-party consensus, and the parties think they'll do it in different ways, and it's the job of one government to come in and say the last people in this department didn't know what they're up to. But it has been a great conservative tradition, and I do remember one of the scariest moments of my life in this area was when we were starting the Make Property History campaign. And it was my job to go in and talk to Michael Howard, who was the leader at that point, to see whether or not he would endorse it. Because if Michael Howard did not endorse it, that meant that we couldn't, for instance, do Live 8 on the BBC, because it couldn't be a one-party or two-party issue. And I remember the terror when I got to the end. I'd been through this presentation, most of which was made up, but a lot of which did eventually happen. And then finally I said to him, so what do you think? And he left a lawyer's pause and then said, excellent. I approve of it all completely. And suddenly we were allowed to do Make Property History, allowed to do Live 8. And I think that it's one of the things that should encourage us on this issue, that there is agreement between the parties, and the competition between the parties should be how to do it best and how to do it quickest. And I cannot say what an extraordinarily important moment it was for the subject development, and as it were in my life as a campaigner, when the Tories committed to 0.7 and indeed said that they would enshrine it in law. This is an extraordinary, brave, proper thing to have done, and you should all be very proud of that. Now, when the government did come in 2 years ago, we had a kind of big meeting of all the charities, and we made this short film that I'd like to show you, which kind of, I think, explains the context of how the issue of aid and development are quintessentially British and part of our nation and what we do. And I thought I'd just show you that as a starting point.